Hey guys, welcome to today's video. It's a chat I recorded with my friend Stacey. She used to train with me and she's a wonderful person. We're talking a lot about how your mindset can sort of morph and change when you get started on your fitness journeys. In particular, we're going to tackle that word toning and how it creates a lot of problems. Have a look. I think there's a lot of information to be pulled out of here, and I'll chat to you guys at the end. Hi Stacey.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, not too bad. How are you?
Good. Thanks for chatting with us today. So I wanted to get you on to have a bit of a chat about when, more normal human beings change their mentality from wanting to look like someone on a front cover, which is actually kind of funny because you are, but the front cover of like fitness magazines and that sort of thing, like men's wanting six packs and ladies wanting to look like, that sort of way that often is pushed on them by the fitness industry, to where you are today and caring more about your health and where that divide happened and how it happened for you. So why don't you give us a little bit about you first, like a little bio? What's your background and how did you end up with the original mentality you had and how it shifted over time?
I think the original mentality came from doing modeling. I did it part-time for a long time, and back in like the 90s, it was really popular to be as skinny as humanly possible. And that carried on through a lot of the 2000s. And it only really changed in the last maybe 5 years, I'd say, personally, I think anyway. So I think that because I started modeling in 2000s and it was still super popular to be very, very thin. So I was just trying to be that.
Yep. So a bit of a victim of the industry you jumped into, as well as societal norms and pressures and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's where it all stemmed from originally.
Yeah. And so what sort of, if you don't mind sharing, like what good habits and bad habits sort of came along with that and your lifestyle towards food and stuff?
I think the bad habits were because a lot of them would tell you that you shouldn't eat before a photo shoot because you can't be bloated and you can't look like you have anything in your stomach.
So just nothing. Just don't eat.
Yeah,
awesome.
So you needed to look empty all the time. And then you start to realize that like when you don't eat food, your stomach is empty. So it does look smaller. And then you start to want that all the time.
Yeah, reinforces it, unfortunately. Bit of like a negative. Yeah. Damn, that sucks. I do remember
you try to eat small amounts to keep your stomach empty, which is so bad for you.
Yeah, it's not awesome. I remember us having a talk once and you're like, yeah, I haven't eaten in like a day. I'm just going to have a Red Bull to get through this work day. And then I'm going to get all the Maccas when I finish. I'm like,
so then,
what?
You just eat everything at the end because you're so hungry. When you starve yourself, you just get really starving and then you eat way too much all at once. It is so bad for you.
Yeah. It's not great. So why did you end up coming to see me? Because that's the thing here. You're a previous client of mine and you started to care about something shifted there. So what was it for you? I know, but tell everybody.
So I started doing silks and I realized that I was not strong at all, and even my endurance was terrible because I wasn't putting enough fuel into my body. With food, you need food for energy to do things, and because I was trying to
so not eating definitely created an issue there, but also years of sort of neglecting your muscle types, all your muscles, sorry.
I wasn't exercising because I didn't want to look muscly, because looking muscly isn't what was portrayed as good for modeling back then.
Yep.
And then I just had this idea that if you got muscly, then you would look really muscly and bulky and humongous.
This is my favorite thing.
You have to eat a lot of food to build a lot of muscle. It's actually very difficult. So I started seeing you because I wanted to get strong enough to do silks. Well, I didn't really know what I wanted at the time. I just wanted to be able to do silks, to be strong enough to do silks, but not look muscly. And I think that was like the first thing that I asked for. I want to be really strong, but like not look strong.
Which is really cool, because once you point out a few things, people's heads do start to sort of take it in, but there is still today, like even though it's shifted a lot and you've sort of said that as well, like 90s and early 2000s was still really bad for that skinny body image portrayal for women. And it has started to shift, but I still get all the women come in, they go, and if they want to lose weight or get stronger or something, I say, okay, we're going to lift these. And they go, oh, I don't want to look muscly though. And I'm
Yeah, they only want to look muscly in certain spots.
you know, all those guys who are just like hitting the gym 6 days a week, taking protein shakes, eating heaps of food, and they're just trying so hard to put muscle on.
Yeah.
It takes that much effort. Like you can't just lift weights a few times and then like you're gonna wake up and be like, oh my God, I'm busting out of my shirt. Like it doesn't.
I know. It's such a funny thing because women think that we're just gonna all of a sudden end up extremely muscly.
Yeah.
And we can see that men struggle to get muscles. So like,
yeah,
why would we get it?
It's really funny that way. And you do need to eat like quite a lot of food to make it happen. And it's really funny with that it's so crazy to me because as soon as I say it, they're like, oh yeah. But it's just like years and years of just being told if you lift a weight, you'll get muscly, people won't like it, all this stuff. And it's not like that at all. And it's very challenging to put on muscle. So I had the pleasure of working with you for a long time and watching it shift. So obviously these conversations hopefully give people a sort of a start point and they hear it from someone who's been through it, and they can hear it from me when I give those examples and comparisons. But you went through it and lived it, and it doesn't just happen to you. You can have things pointed out that give you like a, oh yeah, light bulb moment.
Yeah.
But to actually change that ingrained thought took time.
Yes, it did.
And then tell us.
I think I don't even really know when exactly it clicked over, but
I think
I know that,
it's interesting because initially when you start working out, no matter who you are, a guy or a girl, if you do start lifting weights and caring a little bit more about you eat, the sort of newbie gains phase, if you want to put on muscle and strength is probably going to be like really encouraging. But if you don't, you're like, no, he told me this wouldn't happen.
Yeah.
And it's just like instantly, because yes, when you start, things do change quite quickly. Usually for the better, like it's all healthy, but you do change a little bit quickly, and then it plateaus, right? So like,
yeah, exactly.
Fortunately, we're friends, and I was able to sort of pull a trust card and be like, yes, things are changing a little bit initially. Just hang in there. And you weren't too stressed because I think you were looking at doing a bit of glute work, and you did want to get stronger for silks as well. So, but I do remember watching that shift slowly over time, and you're like, oh, it's okay. And then you were eating more anyway to compensate for your workouts because you're just tired. You're doing silks a few nights a week and then working out twice a week with me as well. So that was really cool. Where do you sit today on it all? Because obviously it's all shifted, but what do you feel about any sort of exercise? Doesn't have to be this, but and your approach to food?
I like exercise because I realize that exercise gives you energy and makes you feel better, and having strength feels better. I don't want to be like I was before because I was so weak. It's just not good for you. And like my body size looks the same. I'm just stronger now. And like I have muscles obviously, and that you can see them a bit more. But
you're like flexing muscles we can't see.
And like, they don't look bad. I realized that they get to a point and then they just say that, and that's what people call like toned. It's just like you have muscles,
which is
that are
funny, and like people are always ask me about it. It drives me nuts. But why don't you have a seat and tell me a little bit about why you would like to start training? What's your goal here?
Yeah, bro, I just want to like tone up a bit.
Okay, so you'd like to lose a little bit of body fat and gain a little bit of muscle mass.
No, none of that shit. I just want to like, get real toned muscle.
Sorry, what do you mean by that?
Look, bro, it's not that hard. Just like, forget all that crap. I want to tone up. Like, how hard is your job? Just count to 12. Make me tone.
But it's not a thing. You can either change your amount of muscle by going up, preferably, or down if you're sick or something happens. Change your body fat, which maybe you need to gain a little if you're in a really bad way, but typically you want to lose it. And then that's it. Like those are the things you can affect in your body. You can't tone a muscle. Like, and if you ask people to define it, it's always just this weird. They're like, tone. I'm like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
Do you want to get it bigger? Or do you want to see it more by taking some fat off? And they're like, just tone. And I'm like,
yeah, they just want to look like themselves, but strong, I suppose.
Yeah. And then you ask them, okay, what does that look like? Do you see heaps more muscles? They're like, no, I don't want to look muscly. I'm like, what do you want? Yeah.
I think that came from the internet as well, that term toned.
Yeah. And I still see some things, especially targeted women and fitness stuff that's like tone up and all these things. And it can be really, really challenging sometimes to have to deal with that. So you have a very different approach and outlook on it now. You do like exercise. You live in the Blue Mountains, which is why we don't work together anymore, which is a bit of a shame.
And
but
lockdown, kind of.
Yeah, that's pretty unfortunate as well. But you still do some form of exercise, body weight stuff and all that, and keep yourself strong so that you can eventually get back out there on silks and stuff.
But I've realized as well, like once you build that, it won't go away super quickly anyway. So it's good. I built that foundation. I don't have to work as hard to keep it that way anyway.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely true.
And like you only have to do like 1 day a week of exercise and you can keep those muscles.
It will certainly make a huge difference. And that's one of the things I try to sort of enforce with people, is that you really want to do what will work for you long term. And if you are one of these people who's super driven and you just enjoy working out, then sure, hit the gym 5 days a week, like go for it.
Yeah.
But if you're someone who just wants to take a certain level of health and be like, okay with that, then doing a day a week, doing a couple of walks, having a decent activity level, and like you play with kids and, you know, you're always doing your business, and then you've got modeling gigs still as well when it's all open and stuff. So like you're not a busy person.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm really busy and I moving around a lot. I don't sit down all day.
And you're not feeling weak and lethargic from lack of muscle these days and all that sort of stuff. You've just found a way to make it fit, which is really cool. One thing I wanted to ask you about was there any, and like maybe we should focus on the positive first. What was all the feedback to as your body changed? First of all, did people actually notice all that much?
No.
And no. And it was a lot of change though. Like, and I've gone through your old Instagram feed as well. And there's ones where you're like very, very skinny, like you can see bones in the shoulder and like all ribs and like very skinny and that sort of stuff, which is, you know, I'm not going to make fun of it. That was just where you were at. And then you see ones forward and you're still like, you are not a heavy person by any means. It's not like a bunch of body fat or a heap of muscle, but things have changed and you look far healthier and strong as well, to someone observing who knows. But what was other people's feedback? Did you receive much at all? Positive, negative?
People, I feel like most people didn't really notice, and I thought it was worse than it was. Like I thought the difference was like much more extravagant, because I was like, I look like the Hulk, and I didn't used to. Like it was hard in the first little while getting used to being strong, and then I realized that you can't actually really see it. But most people just said that I looked healthier. Like I was more glowing. Like I think I was just healthier. Like it wasn't even about how my body looked. It was like you could see that I was healthier. And
I think that as much as I'd love to just take all the credit and give it all to exercise and all that sort of stuff, I think that also speaks to just the wide range of things that changed all at once as well. Like you were eating. For a start, you just were not, you know, deciding not to eat for 2 days because you had to do a job. Like that's going to make a huge difference as well. And it's all going to affect your sleep and then just your general hormone and emotional and stress levels and all that sort of stuff. So you can't just credit purely exercise for it, but sometimes adding in that one lifestyle changing factor will affect all the others.
I think that so like exercising obviously makes you a little bit like hungrier. So then you're like, okay, I'll eat. And then you like are more likely to eat healthier because you've exercised. So then you're eating more healthy. And I think that's how it all sort of like gets. Yeah,
which is great.
So
and
it
does
come from exercise.
That's why I wanted to have this chat, is to have you put it in your words and not have me put them in your mouth, and not have just those like written testimonials or transformation photos or anything like that. Like, no, thank you so much for that. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Any advice to anyone who's looking at going through this? Because this will be up on socials and stuff like that, and people trying to suss out whether they want to come work out might hear it. So what would you say to those sort of people?
I think that you don't have to be worried. So I was terrified, and I was like, oh my God, like you're my friend, so it made it a little bit easier. But I was like,
I think we got by a lot on that. Like,
yeah, it makes a big difference. But I was just so scared, and it seems like such a big hurdle. Like it felt like it was such a big thing, like doing a full change. But you just do like one thing, one little step, and eventually it turns into like you've done all of the steps without thinking of it, if that makes sense. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
you don't have to consciously be like, I'm going to exercise and eat really healthy, like from today onwards. Like just do like one thing, and then you feel better about it, and slowly start to do everything right.
That I'll start Monday mentality. And it can be hard if you're a business owner or any sort of creative or perfectionist or something like that. You really do want to do that, and you want to go, no, I'm going to do all the things at once. I'm going to get 8 hours sleep. I'm going to eat 4 meals a day. It's going to be this much protein in every meal, and I'm going to work out this many times. And that mentality can mess you up real hard, because if you miss one thing, the rest goes. But it can actually work in your positive. If you just add one thing, the other stuff will probably come along, which was your experience. And that's one thing I try and sort of get through people's head is, when you come to train with me, I don't always recommend, do 4 days a week or do 5 days a week. And most people I don't let do more than 2 when they get started. And just build slowly, see what happens in your life, see what fits, see what you can make work, and then we'll work together to do it, which is really cool.
And you don't have to be perfect either. I am far from perfect, but because I've like built that foundation of like muscle and health, then I can, like yesterday I ate Kit Kats and Lindt chocolate. Yep. And then I had hot chips for lunch. Like, but
also lockdown life, like you got to take care of you got to take care of what you're feeling at the moment, and that's an important point as well. Fitness shouldn't be this be perfect thing all the time. It should be what fits in with your life to get the level of health that you, one, are happy with, and 2 is like just what you need. Because like you got to find a middle ground between those 2, and it can go with anything. Like, if you like to have a drink, like you've got to find a level of regularity in that is okay for your health and your financial health and your mental health and the people around you and your social. You can't just be like, oh, this is fun, I'm going to do this every day. And same with work and everything else. Fitness should be the same. But for some reason, I think often, whether it's the marketing, we end up with this idea that it needs to be $1 billion or nothing. And
or like a chore. Like it doesn't need to be a chore. It can be like a self-care thing.
Yep.
To make yourself feel better.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite things, honestly. Just running out and having a workout, like it'll make the whole day so much better. Oftentimes, if I'm not feeling motivated to do study or something else, it'll, have a workout, have a shower, and oh, good, let's get on with the day. Like it's really cool.
Yeah. There's days where I do not like exercising, so I have to make it fun. Like I can't just go to the gym on my own and just exercise every day and love it. I will not love it at all. I have to do it like fun. So I would have to come to you, or I go to Surf. Like you just find a way to do it where it's fun.
And that's it. Those hobbies or interests or whatever you want to place on them, whether it's a sport or something you're working on. For me, it's skateboarding. For you, it's silks, that sort of stuff. They absolutely add to your activity level, and they can be huge drivers of maintaining good, good fitness, like whether it's cardiovascular health or muscular strength or capacity to jump or hold on to ropes when you're falling. These shouldn't be discredited as part of your fitness. They really are, which is really cool.
Yeah, but they are.
Oh, well, thanks for chatting.
It's not that hard. Just do it. Don't worry.
So Stacey's going to be the new spokesperson for Nike. We just do it.
Just do it. Don't worry.
Quote. I'm going to put it on a shirt. With just like one of your pictures from modeling as well. Thank you so much for coming on.
That's okay.
Do you have anything else you would like to add to that conversation? Because you were sort of a victim of that mentality, and you managed to get out of it, and that marketing and all that sort of stuff. Are you pretty happy with how you've sort of portrayed your change there, or do you have anything you'd like to say?
I think so. It's so hard because I don't know, it all just happened slowly on its own. So I can't really like pinpoint anything to like give people proper advice, but yeah, and look, it's little decisions. A little funny because I'm like, I'm going to talk to just real people, and then the first person I talk to about this is very much a real person and someone I know and love, but like you are a cover model technically. Not anymore, but that's very separate, and you had your own experience because of that,
which definitely changed it and put its own hurdles up as well. But that maybe just a quick point I think I'll make is that hasn't changed for you at all. You still participate in modeling as much as or as little as you want today.
Yeah.
No one. Have you had any negative? Nope, sorry, too much muscle being shown.
No, not at all.
Yeah, cool.
I get asked all the time, but I just choose not to do it anymore because I get so busy with everything else. I'm like, no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, which is fine.
Yeah.
I just wanted to add that in there because, like, yeah, it's a bit more niche and whatever, but I thought it would be reassuring for people to hear.
Yeah,
But, yeah.
no, it hasn't changed anything.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on, dude. I hope you guys all enjoyed watching that. Stacey's such a cool person, and she was willing to share some pretty personal thoughts and some of the emotions she felt throughout her fitness journey. If you're looking for a little bit of guidance in yours, hit me up on any one of our socials. I look forward to hearing from you guys.